exciting match planned by two very strong teams. The Honeymooners, the defending champions, I believe, in blue, and Casu Marzu as Casu Marzu. Don't ask, that's the red team. And the captains are John and Ray, respectively. They know that we need to hear the words final answer in any steal situation. Although I don't know how many steals we're going to have in this particular match. These teams are very, very strong. Okay. Our first category for 1 to 5 points is starting words. Starting words. Good luck, teams. Remember, no more than 2 buzzers per category. Starting words for 1 point. On May 17, 2010, Meryl Streep spoke at this graduation ceremony at Barnard College. On May 17, 2010, Meryl Streep spoke at this graduation ceremony at Barnard College. Brandon?
Commencement?
Commencement is the starting word. That is right. And that was a triple stumper on the show. I guess it bamboozled them as Yoel almost got bamboozled, but Brandon came through. First blood to the blue team. For 2 points, starting words. To begin a process or to admit a pledge into a college fraternity. Rochelle.
Initiate?
Initiate is correct. I thought you were going to say rush. Initiate is right for 2 points. Starting words for 3. It means to start. Pronounced differently, it's the last name of an Israeli prime minister in the 70s. Andy.
Begin, Begin.
Begin or Begin is correct. And you pulled out the red team's Begin on that one for 3 points. We're tied up. For 4 points. Every 4 years, the U.S. holds a day named for this ceremony. Joe.
Inauguration?
Inauguration is right. That's the starting word. And that was another triple stumper. Well done. Make sure you're all muted, everybody. Here we go for 5 points in starting words. In 1790, explorer James Bruce published Travels to Discover This Origin Point of the Nile. John.
The source.
Source is right. Another triple stumper. I don't know whether they had a lot of dummies on the show that day or what, but you all are outdoing them enormously. Okay, next category is eBay. eBay. eBay for 1 point. Edrakilis Bay is at the mouth of Loch Achaim Bain on this country's northwest coast. Edrakilis Bay is at the mouth of Loch Achaim Bain on this country's northwest coast. Andy.
Scotland?
Scotland is right. I thought maybe the Chaim would suggest Israel, but Loch is definitely Scottish. eBay for 2. Englishman's Bay is on the leeward or northern side of this island that's just to the northeast of Trinidad. Englishman's Bay is on Gray.
What is Tobago?
Tobago is right. Trinidad and Tobago. They're peas in a pod, those two. 3 points in eBay. Escambia Bay connects to Pensacola Bay off this state. John?
Florida.
That's correct. Florida for 3 points. For 4 points. The East Bay that produced punk musician East Bay Ray is the eastern shore of this California bay. Ray?
What is the San Francisco Bay?
San Francisco Bay is correct. Finally, for 5 points in eBay, Episcopi Bay is in the Greek sector on the south coast of this island. Episcopi Bay. Andy?
Cyprus.
Cyprus is right. Okay. Our third category is actually one of the reasons I picked this for this game, because it requires some good brain power. And I figure that's something these two teams should have in some measure. The category is deconstructing the nursery rhyme. Deconstructing the nursery rhyme for 1 point. This small boy based the perception of his behavior on the removal of a fruit item from pastry. This small boy based the perception of his behavior on the removal of a fruit item from pastry. Time. That was little Jack Horner.
Jack Horner.
Jack Horner pulled out a plum. Okay. For 2 points. We're still trying to figure out why royal equines aided in the surgery to save this guy who enjoyed, Ray?
Who's Humpty Dumpty?
Living life on the edge. Humpty Dumpty is correct. Now, I chose this category, and then I discovered to my dismay that we need surprise substitution, surprise substitution, surprise substitution.
La 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 la.
That's right. Everybody's getting into it now. And alas, we have 2 surprise substitutions needed, and we'll get right to them. The surprise substitution is in the category sounds like a noble gas, man. Sounds like a noble gas, man, for 3 points. Especially popular in Rhodes was this chariot-riding Greek sun god later identified with Apollo. Especially popular in Rhodes was this chariot-riding Greek sun god later identified with Apollo. Rochelle?
Helios?
Helios is correct. Well done. Sounds like the noble gas helium. Helios was correct. Same category. Sounds like a noble gas, man, for 4. A manufacturer of missiles and microwaves whose name means light of the gods. A manufacturer of missiles and microwaves whose name means light of the gods. Time. The answer, Raytheon. Raytheon. Somebody on the show guessed Amana, which I guess got probably some chuckles from the audience, but at least, what are you going to do? You got to be in it to win it. Okay. Oh, those were well picked. Those were tricky. We go back to deconstructing the nursery rhyme for 5 points. Obviously involved in a troubled marriage, this man locked his wife in a large version of the fruit of his dining choice. Brandon?
Peter Pumpkin Eater.
That is correct for 5 points. Well done. Well done. Okay, that was pretty challenging. Next, the webs of websites. The webs of websites. Oh, we're at the halfway point of the first round. Red team 21, blue team 19. The webs of websites. For 1 point. YouTube and Blogger are part of this company, the #1 search engine. Brandon?
Google or Alphabet.
Google is correct. Google. Not very popular these days. For 2 points. This newspaper company also gives you information at its website about.com. This newspaper company also gives you information at its website about.com. John?
New York Times.
That's right. New York Times is right for 2 points. AOL once owned this site for information about films playing in your area. AOL, Rochelle?
Movie phone?
Movie phone, that's right. Press 1, that's correct. No, actually press 3, because that was press 2. That was 2 points. Now for 3 points. Keep an eye, in quotes, on this broadcaster's site, whose brands, John?
CBS, The Eye.
CBS, The Eye is right. That's 4. And you're out of this category for the 5th clue. IAC sites include College Humor, Ask.com, and this daily news site, Newsweek's former online home. Former and perhaps current, I didn't check it. IAC sites include College Humor, Ask.com, and this daily, in quotes, news site, Newsweek's online home. Time. I don't read it, but the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast. Okay. Next category is my favorite and yours, Ice cream. Yay, it's a hot day. Let's all get the hell with trivia. Let's go get some ice cream for 1 point. Amaretto Almond Crunch and Blueberry Crumble are limited edition flavors of this ice cream with an umlaut in its name. Rochelle?
Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs is right. The umlaut over the first A. Makes no sense at all. For 2 points. In 1923, Harry Burt patented these ice cream bars on a stick. Bringing a pail of them for patent officials to sample was smart. In 1923, Harry Burt patented these ice cream bars on a stick. Bringing a pail of them for patent officials to sample was smart. Time. Too late, Corinna. Why was it smart? Because it put them all into a good humor. It's a good humor bar. That's an interesting fun fact. I thought it was. For 3 points. An ice cream parade through the Blue Hall of Stockholm City Hall is part of the banquet after these awards. Rochelle?
The only thing I can think of Stockholm is the Nobel Prize.
No, it's the Golden Globes. Yes, Nobel Prizes is correct. They have an ice cream parade. Isn't that nice? And they must have floats too. Get it? Floats in the parade? Okay, for 4 points in ice cream. This original sundae cone from Nestle is named for its resemblance to part of a fried chicken. Andy?
Drumstick.
Drumstick is right for 4 points. I like this category more and more. For 5 points. Top off a Japanese meal with these golf ball sized ice cream treats wrapped in soft, Ray?
What are mochi?
Mochi, soft dough. Mochi is right. I've never had mochi. Would I like it? Sounds tasty. Okay, Ray, I'll get back to you after I have a Japanese restaurant right down the street from me. I'll get back to you. Jimmy's on top is our last category. Ice cream with Jimmy's on top for 1 point. Jimmy's on top. Late Night with this former SNL guy has won several. Rochelle?
Jimmy Fallon.
Several primetime Emmys is right. Jimmy Fallon for 1 point. Jimmy's on top for 2. In the 1970s, this left-handed tennis player was ranked #1 in the world for 160 consecutive weeks. Rochelle?
It's the great Jimmy Connors.
Jimmy Connors is right, and 160 weeks is amazing. For 3 points, right, you're out of this one, Rochelle. For 3 points. His song Big Bad John spent 2 weeks at the top, John.
Jimmy Dean.
I might have known you'd know a Big Bad John answer. Jimmy Dean is correct, Big Bad John. For 4 points. In 1985, this actor's wonderful life included getting the, John?
Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart.
Walt, that's correct. The Presidential Medal of Freedom, the USA's highest civilian honor. Now you're out of it. So Karina and Brandon, you'll have to carry that weight for the blue team on this final clue for 5 points. A recipient of Jamaica's Order of Merit, this man sang, "You can get it if you really want." Andy?
Jimmy Cliff.
Jimmy Cliff, keeping the blue team from sweeping the category, and a very tight match. At the end of the first round, Honeymooners 43, Casu Marzu 35, and the possibility of a tie because both teams have an odd score. Good luck to both teams in the second round, which begins with the category News of the 2010s. News of the 2010s, which we're still in. For 2 points. Good luck, teams. His September 2011 announcement that he'd run to be Russian president again was not greeted, Ray,
Who is Vladimir Putin?
with the joy he'd hoped for. That's right. Putin is right. And that's Putin. 2 more points on your scoreboard. For 4 points. On January 23rd, 2012, the Supreme Court said police need a warrant to put this type of tracking device on a suspect's car. Andy?
GPS.
GPS is right for 4 points. Well done. within 2 points of the blue team. Here we go for 6 points. News of the 2010s. This purchasing method was big during the Depression. Walmart brought it back in 2011. John?
Layaway.
Layaway is right for 6 points, extending the gap there. For 8 points. She ended her presidential campaign right after the 2012 Iowa caucuses. Ray?
Who is Hillary Clinton?
No, a
That's all
break
right.
for the blue
Sorry.
team. She ended her presidential campaign right after the 2012 Iowa caucuses.
Right after the 2012 Iowa caucuses. Okay, so this is not 2016, this is 2012. Was it Elizabeth Dole?
That's who I was thinking of.
Wait,
But I,
2012.
No.
I got nothing.
20,
Wait, Bachman maybe? No, I don't. I'm not confident enough to say that.
All right, then let's pass.
We're gonna pass, Bob. Final answer.
Yes, it was Michelle Bachmann. Michelle Bachmann.
Oh, wow.
And now 10 points. Everybody mute. Michelle, you have to mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay. In January 2012, this Mideastern president vowed an iron hand against protests. John?
Assad.
Bashar Assad is right, and that iron hand is still clomping down. Okay, next category, subtitles. Subtitles. For 2 points. Raising the Hunley describes the 2000 recovery of a sub lost off the South Carolina coast during this war. Raising, Andy?
Civil War.
U.S. Civil War is correct for 2 points. Subtitles for 4. Wolfgang Frank's The Sea Wolves is subtitled The Story of German These Submarines at War. Joe?
U-boats?
You are correct. U-boats for 4 points. Subtitles for 6. Clear the Bridge tells the story of the USS Tang, sunk in World War II when one of her own these made a circular run. Joe?
Torpedo?
They torpedoed themselves. Yes, alas. That's right for 6 points. Joe is out of this category. For 8 points. 1928's Raiders of the Deep begins with a German submarine's controversial sinking of this passenger liner. John?
The Lusitania.
Is right for 8 points. Lusitania is correct. And finally, for 10 points. Cry from the Deep recounts the tragic 2000 loss of this Russian nuclear sub with all hands. Andy?
The Kursk.
The Kursk is correct. 10 big points. Okay, next, city museums. I'll give you the museum. You identify the city in which you will find it for 2 points. The National Gallery of Art of the United States, Joe,
Washington?
is correct for 2 points. For 4, the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum of Art, Rochelle,
New York.
is correct for 4 points. For 6 points, Carnegie Museum of Natural History, Joe,
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh is right for 6. For 8 points, the Museum of the American West, formerly named for Gene Autry, Ray,
Gene Autry Museum's in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles is correct for 8 points, and the score is tied, 71-71. For 10 points, Western Reserve Historical Society, John,
That's in Cleveland.
it is Cleveland, Ohio for 10 points, 81-71. Still anybody's match. We have 3 more categories. The first is color TV. Color TV for 2 points. In the 1990s, Dennis Franz won 4 lead actor Emmys. Ray?
What is NYPD Blue?
NYPD Blue is the color TV. That's right, for 2 points. For 4 points. This sitcom detailed the lives of 4 older ladies living together in Ray.
What is Golden Girls?
Golden Girls. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get that entire clue out. I just knew. I didn't know who was going to buzz in, but I knew I'd never finish it. For 6 points, color TV. Ex-Chicago Bull Ken Reeves coached hoops, John,
The White Shadow.
at Carver High on the White Shadow is right for 6 points. Color TV for 8. Even after selling one of his paintings for $1 million, Eldon worked on the house of this 90s sitcom titled woman, Rochelle.
Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown for 8 points. That's the color. Finally, for color TV for 10. Hermie the elf wanted to be a dentist. John?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Classic TV cartoon. That is right. Okay. Now, the next category is rhyme quick. Rhyme quick. The response will rhyme with quick. And these should go quick or quickly for 2 points. Sturdiest 3-pig construction material. Ray.
What is brick?
Brick is correct for 2 points. Rhyme quick for 4. A painful cramp of the neck. Brandon.
Crick.
That's a crick. That's right. It's also a body of water behind my house. For 6 points. Yiddish for a comics act. Joe.
Shtick.
Shtick is correct for 6 points. For 8 points. Term for a magazine printed on glossy paper. John.
Slick.
Slick is the rhyme. And finally, for 10 points. An unbranded calf or someone who doesn't conform. John.
Maverick.
Maverick. Triple stumper on the show is correct. Finally, if it ain't Baroque. If it ain't Baroque. For 2
Bob,
points.
this is the final category.
Yes, final category. 127 to 85, favor of the Honeymooners. If it ain't Baroque, for 2 points. A 1912 work by Marc Chagall is titled after this musician found in the title of a Broadway show. A 1912 work, Rochelle?
Fiddler.
Fiddler is right. That's what the artwork is called, for 2 points. If it ain't Baroque, for 4. This Spaniard called some of his pieces, quote, hand-painted dream photographs. This Spaniard, Andy?
Dali.
Dali, Salvador Dali. Triple stumper on the show. Nicely done. For 6 points. 1947's Lucifer was one of the first, in quotes, poured paintings by this artist. John?
Jackson Pollock.
Is correct for 6 points.
GRE questions.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know the GRE was hip to Jackson Pollock. For 8 points.
Reading comp.
Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. For 8 points. Edward Hopper captured the isolation of urban life in this 1942 masterpiece. Andy?
Nightbirds.
Incorrect. Break for the blue team. Edward Hopper captured the isolation of urban life.
Nighthawks.
Nighthawks.
Yeah, Nighthawks.
Nighthawks, Bob. Final answer.
That is right. Nighthawks is correct. Finally, for 10 points. Georges Seurat painted a Sunday afternoon on this island. Literally, Rochelle?
La Grande Jatte.
La Grande Jatte, the big platter. And the Honeymooners make a big clatter, prevailing 153 to 81.